3. Oh no, I didn't do this right. Hold on. Sorry, false alarm. Abort, abort. Okay, going live in 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live. What are you doing here, Henken? How's it going, man?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm
supposed
supposed
to look over here. We're
Yeah,
just going straight into it, huh?
Yeah, well, whatever, however you want to look, man. Can you see me over here? I'm on the other side of the 8. There you go. Now you should be able to see me.
Oh, there you are. Sorry.
What's going on, man? Long time no see.
Long time no see. Doing good. Living the quarantine life. How about yourself?
How are you surviving the quarantine, dude?
It's rough. Government told me to stay inside and play video games, which, oh my, that's something I'd never expected to do.
But you're managing that. You're managing. You're surviving.
I'm doing my best.
Are you just playing Star Citizen right now? Are you doing anything?
Oh no! Actually, funny enough, I was primarily Star Citizen streamer, and then they were giving away a couple games on Steam due to the whole quarantining issue. That were like more user based and interactive, kind of like Drawful. If you ever played Jackbox.tv games,
yeah, I
which
played
has been kind of cool. Yeah. So I started kind of doing those. Start off with. It's kind of funny because I was hesitant. I was like, I don't really want to do this. Like everyone wants to watch Star Citizen, and I was getting more people talking and watching and playing with those games than I was doing Star Citizen. Like it's kind of funny for a little bit.
Were you streaming those as well, or just
yes, 100%. Well, I'm not gonna just play by myself. The cool thing with Twitch is, kind of like you're at someone's house. My channel is hosting the game, then I have to connect to it using a phone. So it's been pretty fun. The first time we played, we had people from Italy. Like we had a girl named Lace or something. It was an actual artist with two colors. She was creating these like crazy pictures compared to our little like stickman doodles. It was pretty funny.
Have you noticed like what's the communities like, just kind of comparing them on Twitch to Star Citizen?
What do you mean? Like Twitch or Star Citizen community on Twitch versus like the other communities on Twitch?
The other communities. Do you notice a difference?
Well, little bit in terms of how people are, but the cool thing is, I had a couple viewers who were playing Drawful there. I was like, hey guys, I'm switching over to Star Citizen, and they're like, holy crap, you play Star Citizen? I'm like, yes, I do. So in a sense, we kind of combine communities. I thought it was kind of cool. To have people from another game be like, oh my god, I didn't know you played Star Citizen. We play Star Citizen. Like, how many ships do you have? I'm like, exclamation fleet. And then they're like, holy crap, I have a Titan. I'm like, yeah, I have more than that.
It's funny, everyone's kind of like a closet Star Citizen player. No one openly admits to playing this game or being involved in the community.
I mean, that's not necessarily true. It's more of those things that you have to pull out that information, right? No one's going to openly be like, oh my god, I play Star Citizen. Like someone else's channel that's like, oh, you're playing God of War 2? Did you know I play Star Citizen? It's like a weird thing to just pop into chat. But in this terms, it was cool because I was like, hey, I'm transferring games, I'm going over to Star Citizen. If you don't know what it is, Space Sim, and four people were like, oh my god, I can't believe you play. It was like pretty sweet.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's pretty incredible. Major feedback. Very strange. Well, anyways.
Major feedback from who?
I don't know. I guess our audio stream's got some feedback on it. You hear that?
I don't. Hello? Test. I mean, I can do an echo. Hello? Is that you?
Sounds of God. Well, anyways, yeah. Well, how you outside of the whole playing video games and stuff in the Corona? You're moving. You're not moving. What's
not really going outside. To be honest, and it's kind of funny because for months when I first started streaming back in August, all I did was stay inside and play video games. And everyone was like, "Oh, you should go outside." Blah blah blah. Can't believe you're choosing to be here, not out to the bars with us. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like working on something. And now everyone is stuck indoors, which I think is hilarious. They're like, hey, can you show us how to play over Steam and use the remote control? And I'm like, so now my skills are useful. They called me crazy. While they were drinking, I was practicing the Twitch. Yeah, I mastered the Twitch. So that part's pretty funny to me.
That is
But I like it. You know, like this to me. I do like go to the beach and going outside. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complete hermit, but this is my domain. You know, I've got everything I need in front of me. My HOTAS, my Star Citizen, my 2K monitor. It's more beautiful than outside.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Okay, so I gotta sort out this audio issue they're saying. I honestly have no idea what the issue.
Guest has the echo.
If Lady Starlord says we have an echo, then that's a problem. She's in charge of this whole shenanigans. So
I wonder where from.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Are you hearing me somehow on Zoom and on Discord maybe?
Well, that's strange because that shouldn't be the case. Try and say something now.
I'm the echoing. Test 1, 2, 3. Me talking to you. I don't hear an echo, but there might just be one.
Okay. All right. I think I sorted that out. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Thanks for letting me know about that. Holy moly. Okay. So we're back. How you doing, Henken? Long time no see.
Kid, long time no see. We're starting this whole thing over.
Now it's fixed. Okay. Thank the makers. Yeah. So, man, so we got this new show here for the Night Crew.
Mm-hmm.
What is your role on the Night Crew? What is it that you do for the Night Crew?
I'm in charge of marketing actually. Basically right now, all I take care of is Twitter, Facebook, getting messages out, getting more involvement and people brought into the Night Crew community. The role is ever changing and developing. Such is the Night Crew team. But that's all I've been doing so far. I know you work on the website. I've just been focusing on getting posts out, getting people to talk to us, getting more people involved into the Night Crew. I possibly want to start talking about getting guests on, but I think that's more of Buster's role. It's been pretty fun.
Yeah, that's true. She does a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. But some people like my tweets. I started doing Talk About It Tuesday.
What's that?
It Tuesday.
Tell us more about that. Yeah.
It's still an early segment. Every Tuesday, I kind of want to have a post out there that talks about something Star Citizen. I mean, maybe we can even start doing more out of Star Citizen community. But my last two were talking about the P-72, which we just got the Emerald version of, the Star Runner. Just kind of getting people's feedback. What's their favorite ship? What do they like about the ship? What do they hate about the ship? Just to get a discussion flow going. Little things like that. Nothing too crazy.
It's funny that you
still
it sounds like you're going to other gaming communities and just encouraging Star Citizen.
Yes.
I mean, I'm
Star
guilty
Citizen
of that
life, okay.
too. I mean, I'm in Minecraft right now a lot, and all I'm doing is working on building that Hull E. Have you seen that?
You're building a Minecraft Hull E?
Yeah, man. It's massive.
Do you have any? Roll the clip.
I don't have any clips of it. That's so funny because other people are asking me for that as well. I have no evidence. You just have to see it on stream. Do you play Minecraft?
No, people have been trying to get me to play. The closest game I played to that, I know that's what everyone says, but I did Terraria, I did Ark, and then I don't know. I just never wanted to play that style. I even did 7 Days to Die with a couple friends, but maybe one day, maybe I'll get this crazy hankering to play Minecraft. But
I swear,
I haven't touched it.
It's like meditative, man. You'll just sit there and you'll just be cracking away at a rock one after another, and it's like you just breathe and sit there and go away. And it's hyper addictive because you never know what's on the other side, like the next block. It's like, oh, the next block could be diamonds, so I'm just gonna keep going until eventually I get that diamond. So,
then you hit lava.
And eventually, like, I'm just trying to rope you into another addictive kind of consumable. That's all.
Oh, man, this is bringing me back to my WoW days. Even now, it's like you can mine the Star Citizen. Like I get all the relaxation, serenity kind of out of this game, right? You crank up the music, you turn on sound effects, and just go mining, and it's really, really soothing.
Do you do a lot of
even
mining?
if you're just flying through?
What type of gameplay do you usually do 9 times out of 10?
Well, that's kind of tough to say. Like, kind of like the Cutlass Black. I'm a jack of all trades. Sometimes I get a hankering for PvP. Sometimes I mine. Sometimes I FPS mine. Sometimes I do cave. Literally anything in this game, I want to have my fingers in. I don't want to master anything. I'd rather just be able to do everything okay than one thing amazingly. I even like cargo running. I haven't done it lately because I kind of get a feel of the server, and when I know there's kind of like a 30k rich environment, kind of like we've been experiencing the last couple days, getting closer to the PTU patch, I don't risk it. Not anymore. That's a young man's game. Going all in on a 30K prone server.
I get that. If you're calling me young, then I'll accept that compliment. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
How do you like streaming and doing mining, or how do you balance that? You know what I mean? You know how you ever do mining and it's like really boring, and it's like, oh, there's nothing behind this rock.
Well, not necessarily, right? People watching you mine might be a little bored with that type of gameplay, but it's not about them watching you mine. It's about you interacting with your audience while you're mining. Go into F4 mode while you're flying to a rock. Give them some shots. Talk about what you're doing, what you're looking for. Nobody wants to just sit there and watch you play quietly as you crack open a rock and listen to the mining laser charge up. It's about how you present your content. 9 times out of 10, I mean, I'm just in F4 mode, moving the camera around the ship. But no matter what I'm doing, mining can be fun. You teach people how to do stuff, what you're looking for, where the good spots are, what different planet. Like I've gone to different moons, like Aberdeen. People are like, "Where is this?" I'm like, "You haven't been to Aberdeen, and how long have you played this game?" Some people don't get to see these planets because 90% of what they do is either do the specific trade route they do from Galog, or do the jump town runs or their specific missions. Like I have a friend that only does 890J missions. That's all he's done since he's gotten the game. That's all he wants to do. And then, I'll show him Microtech and he's like, "We have a planet like this?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I feel like it's my job to show you guys everything we have to offer with Star Citizen.
Galactic tour guide. I like that.
Exactly.
Is there anything
Take my hand, welcome to the internet.
Is there anything you wouldn't do in Star Citizen on a stream? Like, do you just find it just doesn't work?
That's kind of a tough one. I guess when I stream, I do tend to go more towards multi crew ships, right? Like I like using a prospector, but I have a mole, so I'd rather get chat engaged and playing with me and going around the ship. And a lot of people that I play from Twitch only have Mustangs or Titans or Cutlass, and they don't go into the rabbit hole that is purchasing a fleet or an armada. So I try to give them an opportunity to play, but I have done solo sessions. We've done the 0 to hero, using like an Aurora, building up the parts, but it's never been too tough. And I guess the only thing I wouldn't necessarily do on stream is some pirate stuff, like not that I want to show myself off as the good guy, but I'm not going to be like, "Hey, let's torpedo some cargo runners on Twitch." Like that's not what I'm about. I don't even do that most of the time regularly. I definitely don't want it, recorded.
Of course not.
Although some other people do, some people do.
I just got to take a moment and say, holy crap, Nerd Show and Tell just rated us with 166 people, and now I don't
Nerd Show and Tell
know what to do about that. Thank you so much, Nerd Show and Tell, for that raid. That's incredible. So, hey guys, welcome to the Late Night Crew Show.
It's Papa.
It's Papa.
Papa Nerd Show and Tell.
Got Mr. Henken here with me. We're just having a nice little chat up in the 890 jump above our Corp Area 18. How was your stream today, Nerd Show and Tell? Good for you to be here. Yeah. If you guys wanted to ask Henken any questions here, just type them in chat, and he's here, just chilling like.
Now here's the thing. So I will never mine on a stream when I know Nerd Show and Tell is on the server, unless I'm using his prospector or mole. That is something I have learned from my years of experience playing Star Citizen.
Is he like an intimidating force to be reckoned with, to not be reckoned with? When it comes to mining?
I fell down the stairs. I hit a doorknob. He's never killed me.
Never killed you before? Not once? That could be a challenge.
No, it wasn't him.
Wasn't him. All right. Well, that's good. Well, what else do you got? What's been 3.8 been like for you? I mean, it must have been dramatic. You realize 3.8 came out just after CitizenCon, right? But think back in like late December when we first got it. What's the roller coaster ride that you went on? You think about that?
No, I've honestly liked the patch. A lot of people complain about some things, but I always find something to do in Star Citizen. When they completely remove gameplay loops, that is when I'd complain, But when mining didn't work, I just didn't mine. When FPS missions didn't work, I just did an FPS. There's other gameplay loops that keep me interested playing Star Citizen. Now I have been experiencing a few more bugs lately, but that's kind of expected when we get close to getting a first wave PTU patch. Like for instance, like guns have been disappearing, but all that's taught me is don't equip my own weapons, go to bunkers, pick up a bunch of guns, and then use AI guns. Problem solved. There's ways to fix what's happening. Workarounds always keep me entertained.
What's the what when you said a gameplay loop is removed? What were you referring to when you said that?
Like, all right, so for instance, remember when mining was a little broken, and we have a desync between rocks being underground, or you pop a rock open, it goes invisible. So you cannot mine efficiently. So that removes a part of the game. It's a gameplay loop, something you can do in Star Citizen. This beginning of this patch, and I think it was like 3A and 3A2, AIs had that big desync where you go down and shoot them, but on your screen they're standing here, but on someone else's screen they're standing somewhere else. So it was inefficient to do FPS missions. So that removed a gameplay loop. But again, there's other things to do. You can do boxes. You can go around, kill people. You can go exploring. You could do cave missions, FPS mining. There's always something to do.
But really interesting how you're completely different from me. I had no idea actually before this conversation, like because I only do one thing on my stream, same thing every day. I didn't realize there was a bunch of other people who pretty much do that. I thought everyone kind of does a whole gamut of things.
No, like I said, jack of all trade, master of none. I am literally a living Cutlass Black. I like putting my hands into every single thing in the game, and not necessarily again because I want to be the best miner or the best cargo hauler, but as a streamer, I feel like it is my responsibility to answer questions for new people, right? And I want to be able to cover every single ground. I've taught probably 6 or 7 people how to play this game in the past like 6 months. And when they give me a question I don't know or don't know how to answer, I feel like someone eventually is going to ask that again, and I'd rather figure out how to do it. So I'm not giving them fluff. I'm giving them real life experience in the game of how to do stuff.
No, I get you there. Yeah. How has your streaming been? I remember when didn't you quit your job back in like November and you said I'm going full time
in October? Yeah, October. Yes, I did.
Yeah, what was that like? You survived, I guess.
I did survive. It was definitely a crazy change. Going from working in an office and then streaming to just kind of waking up and streaming all the time. But I liked it. Ended up moving, which kind of affected my streaming capabilities because when I moved down to the city, everyone told me we have fiber laid down. And when I got here, there's like 3 or 4 pockets of neighborhoods that have fiber. So I couldn't stream for like a whole month. And that really, really hit my community hard. I went from having like 300 average subs to, I'm barely teeter-tottering 50, 60. But, I don't blame them. Like, I'm a TV show that went off the air. And now I'm like, I'm kind of back, So, like, even though right now, like, you guys can't see in the background because we have a green screen. I mean, we are in the 890, but I'm streaming out of my friend's guest room, She's the only one of my friends that has a good internet signal. And she's like, test out my internet. If you can stream here, do it. And I was like, you are amazing. So
is it crazy?
Just getting back into it.
Isn't it crazy? We live in 2020 and we have unreliable internet like this. I mean, I get there's like a global a pandemic happening right now, but at the same time, holy moly, who'd have thought our infrastructure was as weak as it was?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Play computer games and online, like I can play at my apartment where I live, but I cannot stream, especially if you want to do like 1080 60 frames, you're going to need at least a 6K bit rate. So that's a 6 upload with, let's say, another 2 for sound. So you need at least 8 upload to stream the quality I want to do, right? And the house I was at where I'm living has an upload of 2, and that's the best that place has. The download's fine. I can play video games, no problem, but I cannot, maintain a stream. It's kind of first world problem, I would say. A little crazy.
Yeah,
first world. Oh, I cannot post a stable connection for my video.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a living for you. If you're talking about 300 subs, I mean, if you went to go live in a more affordable country, then you could probably do just fine on something like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, even here in the States, I could probably move out to like Ohio or Arkansas or somewhere out where it's not super expensive, but it's hard for me to leave Florida. I'm sure people who live in Cali would probably say the same thing. The weather is it's too nice. In the wintertime, I get to go jet skiing while other people have to shovel their driveways and have their face hurt.
It's interesting. That's the first time I've heard you say that you're from Florida. So that's cool. Did you know Florida is like my second home? Have I told you that before?
No, you have not.
Man, I feel like I tell everybody that. But yeah, Cocoa Beach.
Well, come down for a Bar Citizen.
Place. Where's the Bar Citizen, and like where would you go for
Orlando, that? Tampa. I did my first one. I think it was in November. And it was the first time I got to go into a place where everyone's talking Star Citizen, which to me blew my mind because my real group of friends. Yeah, it's such a good feeling. All we wanted to talk about was ships and gameplay. You know, when I go out with my normal friends, I'm like, "Hey, we got a Hammerhead," and they're like, "Can you stop talking about your video game?" Like people, they don't get it. You know, to have birds of a feather or like minds in the same room, like drinking beers, like this was the coolest thing I've ever done. You know, every one of them was nice. Lieutenant Dan, most of you probably know him, was in charge of that. I got to meet him. Great guy. You know, it was cool. It got me excited for CitizenCon. I actually wanted to do it this year, so fingers crossed that it happens.
Yeah, fingers crossed for sure. Yeah, I honestly, the first time that I was around those people before, it was a real changer. And like I tell people this, and like if you go to CitizenCon, it'll change your life. You'll never look at things quite the same again. I don't really know what it is either. There's just this weird aura. It's more than just a bunch of nerds having like the same interests, because it's almost a way of life. Like, we are the most patient people on the planet, and I realized this after the whole Final Fantasy VII thing, and I'm like, just let Final Fantasy go longer, give it a couple more years. And then every Final Fantasy player was like, no, we need it right now. Like, those are rookie numbers.
Yeah, they don't know the struggle that is Star Citizen.
No, I know, right? Yeah, but no, you're still dealing with a lot of internet problems, and I am surprised to hear about that. What do you think? Like, I gotta say, what do you think about Starlink? Do you know what Starlink is? Have you heard of that?
Is that the satellite internet?
Yeah. I think that this is going to fix all of our problems.
I would love if it works. You know, but depends on the speed. That's the biggest thing for me. You know, how can a signal be a hard line? You know, like, look at the way we have land right now. You know, Wi-Fi will never ever beat Ethernet port. So they'd have to do something crazy to have that signal send efficiently enough. You know, and then what happens when we have cloud coverage? I mean, I don't know if any of you ever had DirecTV. Anytime it got cloudy, you can't watch television.
That's true. Yeah.
You know?
Man, I totally forgot about that.
That was old satellite tech. You know, maybe this is some crazy, you know, laser beam that's going down into a freaking laser beam receiver. I don't know. I don't want to get technical because I can't, but
I'm sure that
hopefully they're not using satellite dishes.
I'm sure people still use DirecTV though. Like, that just seems like one of those technologies that wouldn't go anywhere. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there
move
still
to a place like
antennas.
Seattle or Florida in the summer, and you'll never be able to watch TV. Like, the funniest thing I remember growing up with DirecTV is anytime it rains, you can go inside and watch TV, because if it's not raining, you have to go outside and play. But if it's raining and you go inside and watch TV, you can't watch TV because it's raining.
That's
and DirecTV won't get a signal. So it's like, I ended up having to, you know, not that it was bad, play video games. And back when I was a kid, there was no playing online. You know, it was like PlayStation 1 days.
That's funny.
It's Spyro.
It's almost counterproductive. I never realized that, but yeah, we wouldn't have been able to watch TV. All we could do is basically play video games, and if it was raining too hard out. I'm going to call this the first world problem show after realizing that. You know, it's our satellite TV's not working. We have to play video games.
My television from space won't go through the cloud coverage.
What's wrong with this stuff?
Because our area is too hydrated.
Yeah, there was a question in chat here. It asked, when is 3.9 going to come out?
1 hour is usually the response to that question, but you know, I honestly expected Friday, and it's not here
today.
But yeah, today, and it's not here. So honestly, just safest bet, and this is just guessing. All anyone can do is guess. Is it's gonna come out next Friday?
Next Friday after Friday.
That's the first wave. Friday after Friday. We're just gonna get next first wave. Then they're gonna give this the weekend a test, but who knows? Maybe Monday comes and they're like, screw it. Here is the first wave. Maybe it's Wednesday. Maybe it's the Friday after next Friday. I don't work at CIG. I don't know.
I think
no one can give you an accurate guess. Like,
I think we should start a betting pool to see who can come away the most accurate. You know, name the date of the patch release. Maybe I'm surprised that doesn't already exist. I mean, we already have
the hour.
We already have Star Citizen Bingo. How is it we don't have the patch release guessing day?
Well, that's like when people do the not the fantasy drafts or whatever, the brackets where people put money down on certain brackets.
Yeah,
I don't know how it works out.
Yeah,
but I do that for Star Citizen. What is 3.9 now? I got $50 on next Friday, 2 p.m. You know,
I've been running it. I what was it? Almost a month ago, maybe. I said April 17th is when it will come out to live, and I'm standing by that. I feel pretty good about that guess.
What makes you pick that day?
Well, so I came to that decision when they originally said, "Oh, it's going to be delayed." I'm like, "Oh, it's so surprising to hear that it's going to be delayed." Usually, like, they're at least a week late. They're usually a week late. So if they're actually delayed, it must be 2 weeks or more. That's how I came to that. And it's always a Friday, right?
It's usually a Friday. I've seen a couple midweek patches, but with something this scale, I'm almost guaranteeing Friday. Because what they're going to do is let First Wave have it, and then just let the servers do their thing for the weekend, and then Monday just go through the crash reports. Like,
now
back when I worked in software, that's honestly what we did.
You're talking PTU for that?
You would think, yeah, PTU First Wave. You would think that they would push something out Monday. That way they could see people use it and blah, blah, blah. But I'm sure what they want to do is just let everyone try it out for a weekend, collect the crash reports, and then make a decision on whether they're going to, keep it going or pull it back.
All we can do is guess. All we can do is pray to the Star Citizen gods. But yeah, I guess we're pretty excited about that. Everyone's pretty nervous.
Yeah, 3.9's gonna be a game changer. Like,
what? It's gonna be a game changer?
Game changer. Like, listen, we're getting so many new things being put into the game where, think about the other patches, mining. That's gonna add gameplay loops, but it's not a game changer, right? It's still Star Citizen. Now we're getting in weather effects where you can't go on certain planets. Like before, people could run on Daymar. If you have 50 oxypens, you could run the length of the planet. Now you're gonna have to worry about temperature. You're gonna have to worry about food and hydration. Even a prison system now. We finally have something for people with crime stat. There's no longer a I'll just backspace and respawn on my ship, no problem, or I'll self-destruct my ship. Now people who do crimes are gonna have to do something about it. Again, that is a gameplay loop, but it's a game changer. It's gonna change the way Star Citizen flows.
You know how I would like to talk about Star Citizen flowing? I would like to talk about how sad we are that the Idris is no longer on the roadmap. That's how I would like to...
They did push it to 4.0, but I will say this, and I always say this, I'd rather them push than release early and be horrible. How much more mad would you have been if we got the Idris mission, you and your friends go to do it, and it just doesn't shoot or move? That's no fun. I don't want my first experience with the Idris being that. I'd rather wait a little bit longer and then get this crazy battle, that you're gonna have to pull in all these other people and utilize all these different ship functionalities. Like, better late than never. I think that's a saying.
It's a very censored response, but I understand where you're coming from. So it's a good attitude towards it. No ISC this week, quite surprising. But I mean, I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they made pretty good videos versus, not having the live show. I like their video on New Babbage where they talk about the attachments like that. That, to me, was one of the most mind-blowing things. We're finally moving away from using the Mobi-Glass, which, in a sense, is a crippling feature inside Star Citizen. You're in a firefight, let's say you were using a silenced weapon, you get caught, and you just take that off and put on a compensator. Before you take out your arm and now you're immobile to anyone shooting you. Even getting out of the Mobi-Glass isn't always the easiest thing. So I think it's sweet that they're moving away from that and giving us this in-game functionality where you can, cancel the menu and go straight to your gun instead of fighting with your iPhone, Apple Watch.
I think it's so strange that there's a general sentiment that we're going to lose the Mobi-Glass. But I think it's funny because when Todd Pappy was on Star Citizen Live, he had said that the payment will be able to pay players by using the Mobi-Glass. So I guess...
Well, I don't think... Okay, let me rephrase. I don't think we're getting rid of the Mobi. We're reducing the amount of tasks we have to do through the Mobi, right? Like, you shouldn't always have to require to use your hand. Now, I'm sure... with the addition of these menus, you could still go into your Mobi-Glass. If you're in a safe spot on your ship or whatever, you can do the same exact stuff. But I think it's cool that they're giving us multiple ways of accessing the same thing, right? Like a shortcut, if you will, to add attachments, add a magazine, change your ammo types, take off your helmet. You're not going to be focused now on using your freaking hand.
Did you see the original Crysis UI that had the similar interface to that? Did you see that before?
No.
It was floating around Reddit. If you give me a couple minutes, I'll try and look it up of the old Crysis 1 interface. But you're excited about that? You think that'll be a good improvement for the game?
Yeah, I think it's a nice little change. Hell, equipping medipens. I think it shouldn't require you to open up your hand, be locked in a position to do something like add med pens to yourself. It'd be sweet if you can go up to a station and use that inner thought bubble and be like, give me more pens, and bam, bam, there they go.
Yeah, I agree.
The point of this game eventually is to, basically be a space sim. I find it ridiculous that you have to go to your watch to pick something off and pick something up and put it on your body.
I agree. I 100% agree with you. Okay, I'm going to try something new here. I'm going to try and put an image of the interface on the screen. You'll have to look at the Twitch. If you have Twitch open, you have to look at it through there. Okay, here it goes.
There it is.
Nice. That worked. I'm so happy. Okay, cool. So if I click on this button here, somehow, no, that doesn't. No, that's just a horrible image. What if I just do open image here? Oh, I don't know how to Firefox very well, apparently.
But, I mean, we can kind of see, yeah, it is
kind of see a little bit.
Almost spot on.
This is awful. Why is this Pinterest?
Star Citizen a New Crisis?
Well, I mean, it's built off the same technology, so I don't see why not. View image. Here we go. This is it. This is how we do it. So, yeah, Crisis 1, very similar interface. But you think this is a model for success? Do you know any other games that use something similar to this?
I don't remember if Division 1 was kind of like that, but nothing else has been this intricate. I've never even played Crisis. I just know that that's the game people will be like, "Oh, I have a new PC. Does it run Crisis?" That old meme. I've never really remember playing a game that has a interactive thing like that. I can't think of it, at least.
And I wonder how like Call of Duty and Battlefield do that as well. Do they have gun? I mean,
I know you can modify your weapon before you go into a match, and maybe at like a ammunition crate or something. Again, I haven't played Call of Duty in a hot minute, so maybe if that's a new thing they added in, I'm not sure. But back from when I remember playing, it was always you finished a round, then you can go and alter your gun, then you go into the match with specific loadouts, but you can't change what's on the gun. Arc and Atlas, I don't remember Arc having in-game attachments like that. I always thought you had to pull it up on the menu. But again, that could have changed after a couple patches. Last time I played Arc was after we got Primitive Plus, which wasn't even a major patch. It was like a small mod you could add on.
I'm trying to find this now for Arc and Atlas, just for my own curiosity, just kind of comparing it here.
Yeah, I never played Atlas either. I was a big Arc fan, but I waited to get Atlas, and I saw the reviews people were giving it, and it was not good.
It was surprising, hey?
I remember a bunch of my friends got into a group, and to fight the Kraken, someone was telling me on Twitch, and they're like, we got together all these people, and then the devs got mad at them for having so many people living on one island to do this. And it's like, wouldn't you have congratulated them for actually getting people together in your community to play the game versus berating them for playing?
Yeah.
So kind of lost respect for those devs.
Yeah, the game industry is a weird place. I'm learning that as the days go by.
Yep. But that's the good thing about Star Citizen, man. Like, they really listen to the community. They wanted to push out hover mode, and I mean, I miss it. I'm not gonna lie, but that's a good example of the mass majority doesn't like a feature, and they take it back to work on it instead of being like, all right, screw you guys, this is in. They give people an opportunity.
How long did you play? Like, how long? Yeah, when did you start into Star Citizen actually?
It was about March of 2018, and I had a couple friends tell me to start playing Star Citizen, blah blah blah, because I used to play a wide variety of games, and it was like Star Wars Battlefront is when I started really getting into space flight. I played flight simulators and Ace Combat and all that, and I always liked flying. But Star Citizen Battlefront is what I was like, holy crap, I love space battles, blah blah blah. I kind of missed the one from Xbox, if you guys remember, where you could like fight in space, but instead of fighting outside of the ship, you could also take a bunch of troopers inside and blow it up from the inside out. And that is like a itch I've been, like chasing for all these years. And then Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out with a new version, and it was nowhere near as good as the previous one. And then someone's like, oh yeah, play Star Citizen. We're going to have all this stuff, and I tried it out, and I instantly fell in love. I played with an Aurora for about 6 months before I finally got a new ship, and I did everything in that game. And this was back before chat was open all the time, and you had to like manually open it up each time. So I spent 6 months in the game not even talking to people. I used flashlight and crouch to communicate. Like, My experience was crazy. I used to do jump town runs with a 3 SCU in the Aurora. The good old days.
Yeah, I remember 2018. That probably would have been around 3.2. I'm guessing. Is that
just around there? Yeah.
Yeah, 3.2.
Launching missiles used to freeze everyone playing on the same server, even if you're on a different planet.
That was like, do you remember there? That was like the Cryastro. What do we call it? The Cryastro Armada?
Yeah, we had Cryastro, Jump Town. What else was? That's just about it. Yeah, this was before we even had Hurston. I remember when they were first talking about bringing out Hurston. I was one of the first people on the planet using half jumps to get there.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah, you have to log out on your ship to get your quantum fuel back, and I remember all these times trying to touch down on a planet, and as soon as you'd go down under 200 meters, your ship would blow up. I literally watched Stanton develop. You know, not as much as most people who have played way longer than me. You know, back in the days of just having a hangar, but it's been sweet watching this solar system become what it is. And hell, we're about to get Pyro. You know.
Yeah, soon TM we're gonna get Pyro. You know, I don't like to stress the whole who's been playing longer game because I value everybody. Like everyone has their own opinion about when they started. You know, like I love listening to the stories of people from 3.6.
Yeah.
You know, they say different things than the people from 3.1 and the people from 2.3. Whenever the good flight model was before 2.6, there was a really good flight model. I think it was 2.3. You know, they have their own opinions about it. So, you know, I don't think it should be devalued just because of that. You should be cherished, man. You got a great perspective.
Of course. I was just saying, you know, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm one of the founding fathers, you know, when people have been playing since before they even had hangars, you know, when all you had was your Aurora in your My Hangar page on the website, you know. I just don't want to take anything away from them. That's all.
And I'm so glad for those people who have the gold cards or whatever they joined.
Golden tickets, right?
Golden ticket, yeah. They started in like 2011, 2012. Maybe next time, guys.
Star Citizen 2.
Yeah, there you go. The sequel. So, Henken, what can you tell me about the Scarlet Order? Have you heard of the Scarlet Order before?
Oh, you're talking about my organization?
Yeah. What is it?
Well, the Scarlet Order, aka Scored, is my awesome Star Citizen organization. They found me.
It's got 212 members in it. Are you kidding me?
We've been growing like crazy. Back when I started, we were probably at like 70, and the guy who taught me how to play, his name was Pilgrim, and we started at org together with like 5 or 6 of us, and Scored was trying to get me for a while, you know, blah blah blah, and then eventually these people just stopped playing or disappeared, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try the Scarlet Order, and literally they became my family. We don't only play Star Citizen anymore. The amount of time I spent with them, we're on Grand Theft Auto. We have people playing DCS, all these different games, and it was kind of cool because out of Star Citizen, I almost got a new family in a way. You know, not to be all cheesy or anything like that, but you know, I like hanging out with my Scored brothers and playing games more than I do with some of my real life friends. You know, it's kind of weird. The kind of bondmanship you make from stuff like this, you know. And all we do is play Star Citizen. Like, always have someone from multi-crew, and you know, it's cool having, you know, when we had Jump Town, it was sweet. Be like, hey guys, somebody just blew me up. I need a couple fighters to pop on, and you know, we ended up getting like 30 people into the server, and you know, people were like, oh, I got me and my 6 guys. We'll take you guys out, and then we come in like a freaking swarm, like, and cool.
Yo, and you got Spazzy McGee on there. You got Archer is on there. I'm so shocked to see Archer on there. You got Monty the Meat Missile on there. Jake Calvin's on there. Jeez, this is
old boy.
This is like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or something like that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a good community of people. I remember you know, finding Archer back in the when he was an artist formerly known as Cupcakes.
Yes.
And you know, we were talking about medical gameplay, and you know, he'd hang out with us all the time, and like we pull in all these great people. I'm like, even Raven Queen, who's like one of the biggest Star Citizen supporters on Twitch. Most of you guys will probably know her. I ended up joining Score too. Like, we're literally a family. It's crazy. But we don't go too hard into it. You know, I know some orgs are like, be here at 700, and I need 12 Gladius scalps. You know, like, we don't have any crazy rules. Just go in there and have fun, and you know, don't be an a-hole. It's the biggest thing.
So who is the founder of it, did you say?
Actually, Winterridge. Winterridge Actual on Twitch is his name, but He's the one that brought me in. Him and a couple other people made the organization, and it actually started, I believe, from Star Wars: The Old Republic is where the org was founded from, and then it just kind of moved over into Star Citizen, and been a member ever since. There was even a point where I was one of the so our org is separated into 3 houses. Well, now 4. It used to be Lucrum, which is my house. It's about trading and industry, just anything money related. We have Nyath for science exploration, medical, and then we have a Nandy, which are like our security guys that shoot and make things more deader. And we just recently introduced House Commons for people who aren't ready to select a house, that don't really want to be into a specialized role, you know. But I was in charge of Lucrum for a while. This was back around Jumptown days. I used to run about 5 or 6 caterpillars. I'd pull them all out, let people fly them. I'd go into Jumptown and then have people just come and land, not even get out of the ship. I'd fill them up and have them leave. Like, we had very efficient money-making skills.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. With all this roster of people on here, yeah, it's crazy. What other games? Good amount of people. What other games did you say that these guys play as well?
Right now it's primarily DCS, Star Citizen, Minecraft, which I know you just got a little bit excited for.
A little bit.
We've done Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto 5. We did 7 Days to Die. You know, it just kind of introduced people to games. They even had a Magic the Gathering thing where there's at least 10 of us always playing that game.
Oh, that's nice. And yeah, Magic the Gathering. I bet that must be good for building like community as well.
Oh, of course.
And I know some
we brought in people too that have never played Star Citizen. You know, on Free Fly weekends especially. My favorite thing was I got about 4 people playing on Free Fly. I showed them a couple things, you know, like FPS mining, blah blah blah, and then I haven't heard from them. And like a week ago, they're like, "Hey, I just bought the game with your referral code. Can you teach me how to play?" And I'm like, "Abso-freaking-lutely." You know, the people we've brought in that were playing, you know, not Star Citizen. So it's kind of cool, branching out into other games and then having people come back and liking this one. You know, some people do have a niche gameplay style, right? Like a lot of my friends love what's that, League of Legends? Everyone plays,
yeah,
those type of games, and to get them off of that is like pulling teeth.
Oh yeah, like, it won't happen.
I even did Heroes. I was like, guys, look, here's a new one that's kind of like this, and they're like, don't talk to me about that game. I was like, oh, sorry.
I feel the same way whenever I go in public and I talk to another gamer and I talk about Star Citizen. You know, they're just rolling their eyes. It's like, oh, here we go, another Star Citizen person. That's why it's a big deal whenever we go to a Pirate Citizen or whatever, or CitizenCon. It's like, oh, finally somebody understands. You know, I don't get it. I don't understand why all the other game companies, game communities are not feeling us or something. We're just too much, I suppose. We're dialed up to 11.
People are too afraid, but they'll see. Like, it's more of a, I feel like people are too nervous to jump in because it's a lot of controls. Like one of my real life friends who is still trying to learn the game, the first hour of me teaching him, he had like backed up from his computer. He's like, I need a break. This is so much to take in at one point. I'm like, you know, you're right. I need to slow it down. I feel bad. You know, there's so many things to learn, not just flying a ship. It's, you know, just walking around and interacting with the world is something they got to get used to, you know, but yeah.
It kind of plays back to what I was talking about before about how like you get somebody who just joined in 3.6, 3.5, just to hear like how accessible the game is to them and how easy they're able to pick it up. Because that's something I kind of worry about. You know, I often say it took me 2 weeks to learn how to fly my ship in Star Citizen, like 2 weeks.
Then you learn pretty quick.
And then nowadays, it's
flying like not crashing or flying like you can effectively survive against nerd show and tell.
It's complicated because like just consider the fact that I just do cargo right now, and just imagine that my skills are developed or specialized for flying cargo. So like not that level of fidelity in flying. I would say just so I'm not running into stuff
you're good
anymore.
At big ships.
Yeah,
you know,
but not that level. Just where I'm at, where I'm not running into stuff anymore. I would say that took 2 weeks, like a good solid 2 weeks, where I'm not running into stuff anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
But nowadays, I don't feel like it's like that. Like I think, or maybe it is. I don't know. Like I'd like to talk to younger people and get their opinion.
Without hover mode, I think the skill curve is a little easier. Like learning to fly is not too bad. You know, getting people used to flying coupled and decoupled, and you applying certain speeds at certain points. It's just getting used to it. Like, think about putting a person into a car for the first time. Like, no one drives well their first time. I've never met someone, especially I have a stick shift car, and I've taught a couple friends how to drive that. Not a single person was like good in their first day. It's all about the feeling. That's what we are as humans. We got to get used to something. It's muscle memory, repetition. That's how we learn things. No one just gets on here and flies right off the back, unless you obviously played other space sims before and you're used to that type of, flying. But, even the biggest thing for me is I come from flight simulators. The rolling on the on a HOTAS is different, because before on a plane you bank to turn, versus this one having a roll instead of a turn on a HOTAS stick.
And that,
like left on in space is left instead of rolling left.
That drives me bananas. I'm so used to that because I started in flight sims as well, and I still do it just naturally, and it feels good. I go into a bank and I'm making a turn, 100% unnecessary, but it just, you get used to it. So wait, so we got a little bit of a connected history if we both got into Flight Simulator. What FS did you start playing in?
It was Microsoft Flight Simulator. I fell in love with it. This is back in the olden days. Like, the graphics were nowhere near as good, but it was cool because everything in the plane was like it was in the real world. And I have a couple friends who fly decathlons and a couple Cessnas. And before I went flying with them, I'd practice in those planes. And I got in there, I started turning the plane on. He's like, "How do you know how to do this?" And I was like, "Video games."
Right, because
crazy to me that, like, I played a game and I learned a skill. Like, I literally was able to take off and fly the plane. Now landing, I was like, "Hell no, I'm not putting this plane down." But taking off and going, like, everything I needed came from a game I played. I probably spent 15 hours in a decathlon and like 5 hours in the Cessna, and that's all it took.
It's crazy too. But like back in those, I don't know, like what years are you referring to when you say like flight sim? I swear there's relevance behind it.
I think it's like 2009 is about when I started getting into PC gaming more than console gaming. That's right around when I got out of high school, and I was able to get myself a computer. Because growing up, I had an alright PC, but I was playing like Warcraft and all that nonsense, and then moved to console because that's just what everyone was playing in those times. I kind of played what the mass was playing, just because I hated Call of Duty, but everyone was playing Call of Duty, so I wanted to play with my friends. And now I was like, screw it, I found Star Citizen. Now I don't care what my friends are playing; they can come play with me. It's my turn. This is my time.
So I think that would have been FSX. That's the one you would have played.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, around late 2000s.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, it's been a bit, but yeah, that's so you usually flew Cessnas? Is that right? Cessna 172.
Cessnas and Decathlon, which is like not exactly a stunt plane, but it's a little more oomph. Single engine, double seater. But you can do a couple more tricks with that airplane. Cessnas is the reason I did Cessnas was I wanted to be a pilot growing up.
Yeah.
And everyone that I knew that had a plane either had a Decathlon or a Cessna. So that's why I practiced those airplanes. Just because I figured if I'm going to go get tested out, I'd want to practice the plane I was using.
That's cool. So that's incredible, man. We have such a similar life. That's so strange. I guess that's why we're kind of...
Brother?
We think in the same terms. I'll tell you, I got my flight training at my... my pilot's license in 2006, I think, and I did all of my training in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it was great up until the point where I was getting my exam done and I was doing my landing, and my brain switched over to video game mode, and it just different. I don't know how to explain it, but
there's no resets.
Yeah, well, that's true, and I almost damaged the airplane too when I did that. It was hilarious.
Landing, I will say, out of all. Taking off and flying is like riding a bike or driving a car. It is so easy, but when you go to land, you're coming in at like 80 to 100 miles an hour, and you can already imagine how fast that is in a car. And that's like you're getting up to those speeds. This airplane is decelerating to these speeds as you're approaching, a landmass. It's nerve-wracking to say the least. You're fighting that roller coaster feeling of losing altitude, but at the same time you're going in so fast. Like, it's a practice thing, like the more you get used to it, the more it becomes second nature, muscle memory. But the first couple times landing, like, it's it's scary when you have the controls. I'm not gonna lie.
For sure. And that's what I mean. Like, I was so practiced with just doing it in a video game. And then, like, you know, everything responds differently. Like, you really have to monitor your airspeed. And, you know, the airspeed in Microsoft Flight Simulator is different than it is in real life, right? So, and it didn't help.
You don't feel it as much.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it didn't help my examiner. He told me to overfly. There was a airplane at the end of the runway that was preparing to take off, and he wanted me to overfly that airplane and then get off the taxiway after that, and which is something I've never done before. So this is my exam, this is my final thing or whatever. And here he wanted me to fly over top of another airplane. God, it was the scariest thing. To this day, I'm still talking about the damn thing. Anyways, so I guess that you're excited for the next Flight Simulator game, correct?
Oh my God, yes. Have you seen it?
Oh God, I'm so excited.
Was it Google Earth or something?
Yeah.
It looks so good. You're literally flying over the world. Like, is Simulator X they're calling this one, right? The new one?
I thought it was just Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't know.
It had something after it. You might be right, but dude, it looks amazing. Like, compared to like even the last one they did, which might be X now that I'm thinking about it. That one didn't look too bad, but you could tell you're in a video game. This one, you could with VR goggles, I feel like you're gonna be able to trick your mind into actually thinking you're flying. Like it's real life pictures of the ground, coming at you. Like that's cool to me.
But technically, the last one would have been Microsoft Flight. Remember that?
I think so. I'm gonna open up my Steam.
It would have been like 5 years ago around there, but it wasn't very popular. And I don't really know what happened to that, to be totally honest with you. But I know that all of the
people switched to DCS.
Yeah, DCS got super popular.
Yeah, I played one from 2016. Simulator X was, I think, the last one I touched, which is all right. Nothing fancy.
It wasn't a fancy game, really. I mean, it was pretty dated. Game. So for them to do as much as they're doing into it, it's so weird too, because like Microsoft Flight Sim has this history of them kind of abandoning it, or just not putting any attention to it. They put out a release. Like Flight Sim 98 didn't really change from like Flight Sim 2002. Then there was a little bit of improvement.
They added a few more planes and a couple more interactive menus in the ship, but not a lot of change to the gameplay.
You know what I think it was? Is they just made it compatible to the new DirectX versions. That's it. And a new interface.
Oh,
that was probably about it. Maybe a little
that would make sense.
A material polish here and there. Adding new airplanes. Hey guys, I got a 747 in now. Woo!
Give us another $60.
Oh yeah, that's what they
back in the day.
That's what they should have done. Made us pay for I mean, I know that they had like third-party providers making airplanes for them, but man, they should have taken the Star Citizen route. Just imagine how much Microsoft would have been through the roof.
All right. Oh, you want anything after a Cessna? Yeah, it's about $50 a ship.
I did Twitch. I did a 24-hour gaming marathon on Twitch about 3 or 4 years ago, and it just flew around the world. And I flew the Concorde within 24 hours. That's a hard airplane to fly, by the way. If you ever really feel risky about something, it's $150 to buy the airplane, but it is rock solid. Like there are these. They had these like tapes they used to use for GPS tracking. It was like it's what the Apollo spacecraft used to use. It was inertial navigation system, and it relied on these tapes. The tapes had these timers on them, and it would feed data or it would check data with the inertial. This is all built into the airplane, by the way, like completely. Yeah. So if you're doing a transatlantic flight, you have to actually take the tape out, replace it with the next tape. That's just a part of flying the airplane.
That's crazy.
Talk about playing it for weeks to learn how to fly the damn thing too.
Yeah. How do I change the tape?
I know, right? It's like good luck Googling that. It's the most random thing ever. But yeah, the new Microsoft Flight Sim game. And there was a recent video that came out a couple days ago just about their multiplayer capability. Did you check that one out?
Yeah. That'd be kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Like, I've never thought of those games. Like, so they're kind of going the route of DCS, having the realistic flight models, vehicles, but to be able to play with your friend, that's gonna be pretty sweet. I would love to take a AC-130, with a couple of guys in it. Be kind of cool.
Do you play? Did you say you play DCS as well?
No, I've been watching a couple of my friends who play DCS. Again, that's another game they've been trying to talk me into getting into, but I have this thing. I don't want to like overload myself on too many. Like
It's so easy too.
Yeah, no, and I'm a completionist, which is the problem. Like right now, I'm playing Sea of Thieves, and I have to get every achievement before I stop complete. Like I don't want to play that game anymore, but I just want to finish it out completely. And even Grand Theft Auto, I was like, oh, I'm gonna play for a little bit, go through the storyline, do some online. But now I'm going through all the missions and trying to get a gold star and everything. I'm like, man, why do I do this to myself? Like, I give myself more enjoyment again, but it's like I get locked into having to finish these games before I add on new projects. So DCS will save for a rainy day.
No, I understand that. And I mean, in my opinion too, like it's hard to transition between Star Citizen and Flight Sim. Well, I don't know if you're using dual joysticks or not, or a HOSAS or whatever.
Throttle and stick.
You're still using throttle. Okay. Maybe that's not so bad, but man, I can't go back to using a throttle now. It's like I just want my dual joysticks for everything.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about getting the Constellation Alpha and going to dual stick, because I noticed when I dogfight on my HOTAS, I end up using the thumbsticks more than anything.
Yeah.
And then I only use the throttle when I'm flying bigger ships. So I want to keep the throttle for when I'm doing Caterpillar or, Kraken or something. But I want to keep the sticks just for combat. But it's funny because I talked on my stream about that, and all these people were like, I thought about the same thing. And then you just end up using the sticks for everything.
Totally.
And you just end up having the throttle plugged in and not doing stuff. And I'm like, man, you're right. You're most likely right. But I don't know. Something about using a throttle still is just soothing. When you're doing cargo runs and, you accelerate. Like, it'd be cool if we even had a rumble pack so you can kind of feel
that would engines, be so cool.
Like give us a little more immersion.
Yeah. I love that idea. Rumble pack.
It'd be a rumble pack and a throttle. It'd be sweet. Like feeling the engine power up as you accelerate it.
Add it to the list of things we need for Star Citizen.
Soon TM.
No, the joysticks though, I really think they're just more accurate. And I think about like all I do is fly Caterpillars, and like I'm almost just grown myself into not using throttle anymore. It's like I'm almost lazy about it. I just use the cruise control when I need to go high speed. It's like, okay, full throttle, cruise. And then for everything else, I just strafe everywhere I go. Just out of laziness, I think. Yeah, it works. Yeah.
Well, that's the way, honestly, the game is meant to be played. I have only seen left-hand stick, right-hand mouse top dual sticks, in terms of combat only. The precision of the mouse and then having the strafing on the left hand. Those people are tough to take down, especially as a HOTAS player. Again, I'm using my right-hand stick, so I don't have as much accuracy as the mouse players. But in terms of moving myself around, I'm using this tiny little C stick attached to this entire throttle system versus having my hand around the entire control. So I feel like using my thumb versus using my entire hand, it's a little more finite. Using the stick.
Do you think that we'll have those big fancy clouds that's in the new Flight Sim game? Do you think we'll have those in Star Citizen?
100%.
100%. You're confident.
100%. I'm 100% confident. I mean, they're already talking about cloud tech and adding all that stuff in. Like, we've seen Crusader itself change already with Planetech V4. It looks different. Now, how are you going to have a gas giant and not have realistic clouds? The whole planet is made of them. We've seen videos of them, what they're planning on doing with cloud tech. And honestly, I think it's looking great. We have those crazy nebulas. Like, what was the one, the Nether, where you saw the lightning and the stuff from the Squadron 42 video? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, and I can't remember it. It's the something, the pin. No.
Yeah, maybe. I thought it was the Nether, but you might be right. It might be something else. It looks crazy. And
the Nether's from Minecraft. You got Minecraft on the brain, man.
I do have Minecraft in the brain. Yeah, now I can't remember what it's called, but I think we're gonna get the realistic clouds. I mean, in a sense, we almost have them now, but once you pass that cloud layer, you can see that it's like 1 pixel long bubble around the planet. All they got to do is give it a little more depth. It's gonna look good. I mean, hell, even games like Grand Theft Auto already have a little bit of cloud tech. They're just making their own version.
What do you think the future is of Grand Theft Auto? I kind of look at Grand Theft Auto as a benchmark for online games. I mean, I don't know the numbers in particular, but I think they have the largest online audience right now. Like, I think their numbers have surpassed World of Warcraft. That's pretty important.
That game is just ridiculous and crazy. Like, when I started playing, I was already like, this game is nuts with what they let you do. I haven't played in like 2 years, and I just logged back in, and now you can have like an orbital cannon shoot people from space. Like the crazy things they added into it. I just feel like it's becoming a online sandbox of people doing whatever the hell they want in a FPS city.
I think that's
I'm honestly surprised that they have kept it going this long. Because when did 5 come out? Like, wasn't that 6, 7, 8 years ago? Like maybe even longer.
Yeah, it's been around for quite a bit.
It's been around for quite a bit, you know. So I was kind of expecting like Grand Theft Auto 6 or them to bring out something new, Grand Theft Auto VR, you know. But it's just they keep pushing updates on online, and yeah, they're all right, but you know, I don't know how long they're gonna be able to keep up this this community, you know.
Yeah,
at least they're not charging DLC. I will say that is the one thing I give Rockstar respect for. They did charge people for those shark cards to have in-game currency, but they never made people have to buy a DLC expansion. You know, we've gotten the new heist, the bunkers, the casinos. All that stuff came free as long as you had the game. And then there's the hackers.
Yeah, well, you mean when you say hackers, do you mean the modders?
Yes. I mean the modders.
Okay.
You know? You go in there and suddenly you're teleported to the middle of the map and explode, or pulled out of your car, or they give you $33 trillion. So sometimes there's good and the bad.
I don't know much about the modding community in Grand Theft Auto, to be honest. Like, is it like an organic? Like, do you know much about the modding community of Flight Simulator? Like, you know how there's whole corporations that all they do is just make airplanes, like, and they sell them on. You never heard of that before?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's like.
No, I've heard people talk about modding games, and you know, even Gondora, from our night crew, mod Star Citizen. You know, but I've never seen people, you know, mod for the good, because everyone in Grand Theft Auto, like 99% of the modders are just kids who found out how to do this. They get banned and ask their parents for another copy. Like, I don't think it's grown people doing this, because all they're doing is being dicks in the game. You know,
no, I see.
Causing people grief.
Griefers. Okay, that makes sense. The reason why I asked that was because I just wonder if like people are able to make money off of it. You know, that's one thing I like about Flight Simulator is the modding community is just they're there to make money. They're selling airplanes. I think that's really cool. I wish that Kerbal was more like that. Minecraft is quite like that.
Like the good side of modding, right? You're not going in and being like, let's make your Cessna fly 3,000 meters a second. Modding, you know, where you hit this button and you crash your airplane. They're creating content. I think of it more of like community workshop versus modding, you know, because when I'm talking about Grand Theft Auto modding, I legit just mean hacking. These people are accessing menus, like mod menus they're not supposed to, and not doing anything good out of it. Like, I think one time I had somebody who created like an awesome weather system and it put us into this crazy death match, which I wasn't down to play, but it ended up being really fun. Like, he took game files and made a custom match out of it. But you know, the rare time you see that versus the other 99% of the time where they just throw you into the ocean or explode you, you know, not even being next to you, and then they're in God mode and you can't shoot them. You know, that's no fun.
Okay, fair enough. So when you said hackers, I shouldn't have assumed you meant modders, and modders with malicious intent, I suppose.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, that's really exciting, dude. So, cool. Man, you got a lot of the go. You're a busy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't know about CitizenCon yet. Did you watch today's Star Citizen Live?
I did not.
Watch that one? Okay. Well, it was cool. They made kind of like a marketing poster, I suppose, for like the Ares Starship. Mm-hmm. So it was cool to see the process behind that, seeing some Photoshop sorcery. They got a really cool tool, actually, I'd never seen before, that they just bring in their 3D models and it just like bakes the lighting on it really quickly. So like I think it's just any 3DS model, like 3DS Max model. They just bring in there and they can like do Photoshop layers and export it.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I definitely got to check it out.
Do you use a lot of Photoshop? Do you play with that stuff a lot?
No, I have like a introductory skill set for that stuff. Again, I spent most of my life coding, and then anytime I needed something like that done, I'd ask someone else to do it, and then in return I'd work on something for them that they can't do. You know, so a nice little community, but never learned how to Photoshop myself. I'm a professional paint artist on Microsoft Paint.
Oh, are you actually? Like, you do pixel drawings?
No, I'm very bad. But funny enough, like some of my own emotes actually came from Paint. Like my '07 took me 3 hours to do. Like, and then my friend's like, dude, I could do this in like seconds. And he showed me how he does it on like a little Illustrator and Photoshop. And I was like, that's beautiful. Now make me some more.
Yeah, man, people are so talented out there. Especially that's one thing that's nice about Star Citizen. You really see those talented people.
Yeah.
Like Cupcakes did my caterpillar, the emoji that I have for my channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went to school. I originally went to school for graphic design, so I learned all the Adobe programs at school. And like Cupcakes did, or Archer did my app or the emoji in Illustrator. And I'm like, why the hell did you use Illustrator for pixel drawing? But like he did some sort of sorcery I've never seen before. It's like a pixel drawing that can scale infinitely, or it's a vectorized pixel drawing, I think is the best way to describe it. But man, these guys, you get really good at something. They're good. They're good. Yeah.
Archer Design Co. He's made a lot of Twitch community emotes. Like most people don't even know. Like, it'd be kind of cool if there was like an artist recognition for emotes. Or you can put them like where it's from. Like you can highlight over and see its history. Like, dude, Nerd Show and Tells, a lot of his emotes are from Cupcakes. Yours, Monty, I think even has stuff from him. A lot of people end up using Archer because he does good work.
He does do good work. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think he's underappreciated. I think he needs a little bit more credit.
100%.
Yeah.
You want to give him a shout out? We'll give him a little shout out in the chat.
Yeah, for sure. You going to do that? Yes.
I got you. You
got it. Yeah, Archer, if you're out there, man, we love you. You're great. Yeah. Well, we got by the way, we did have a Squadron 42 update today. Was it today or was that yesterday?
Oh, what was it?
Well, actually, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention the whole flat Earth thing. That was cool, hey? Planetech V5. Yeah. I got a chuckle out of it. Man, I felt like the internet was sad on April 1st because I think that like usually April 1st is like Internet Day.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have much fun on the internet on April 1st.
I mean, it's tough with what people could have joked with, like it's a crazy time to be living right now.
Yeah, it's true.
You have to kind of teeter-totter around what you could really joke with. Like I like theirs, the Planetech V5 coming soon. We're finally doing the way the planets are meant to look, flat. And I thought that was hilarious, especially considering we have a Flat Herson Society org in Star Citizen.
Of course. Yeah. Within we got a newsletter today. I don't know if you saw that. Are you excited for the Star Runner? Are you excited for the
Star Runner?
Yeah.
Oh my!
So many stars
God,
out there. Yes.
I love that ship. I cannot wait to actually apply the advocacy skin on it. Like that sexy black and gold look. Oof, it's gonna be beautiful. I'm hyped. That's more or less gonna be my new daily driver.
Well,
it's nothing crazy, and it's just I like it. I like everything about it.
Did you see there was a post today or an email that went out today with the new concept of it? Did you see it?
Mm-mm.
You didn't? That's good, because if you're enthusiastic about the ship, I'm going to show you it right now. I'm going to do the content screen. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Hopefully this works. There we go. So that was today. That came out today. And something I noticed that changed in it is got like the satellite dish now. You see that?
They've had that on there before.
Did they have that on before? I just didn't see that.
Mm-hmm. I think it was in one of the kind of screenshots they made of it, of like the live trailer pictures. I don't know how to explain them. Like of it in action. Because that's how you're supposed to intercept signals and hack stuff.
This is such the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
I'm a little bit jealous because I always thought the Caterpillar was the Millennium Falcon ship. I always flew the Caterpillar everywhere I went, but clearly that's not the case. What's this? Is this a turret up here? Is there a turret on here?
I think there's two turrets, right? Because if you remember the lore post where it was the Badu and the girl running away, he was using the turrets, but with a remote access.
That does not look like a remote turret to me. Does you see what I'm looking at right now? This thing here?
Yeah, well, I think he specifically bladed his.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's cool, man.
But yeah, I think there's a turret there, and I think there's one near the front as well.
That would make sense.
Like underneath somewhere.
So what is it about this ship that is gonna make it your daily driver?
Well, I really like drug running in this game.
Oh.
And I like it's a fun aspect, it's not that I always want to do it. It'd be sweet to have a ship that has the unscannable areas of the ship. You're gonna be able to kind of move stuff around because when we get past the point where we're just getting scanned by AIs and people start, you're in our sector, we need to go through your ship. It'd be sweet to you do this little mini game of they're gonna go and check over here, but you're running the box to this section, and then they're gonna go over here, so you got to run the box back over. It's got all these like Jeffrey tubes and ways to move around the ship that I think is really awesome. And like 40 SCU, and it's got a good size on it. I like it. I like everything about the ship. It looks so good.
It does look good. I agree.
It looks so good.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with that. Then again, I guess there's some contention as well, like them releasing a ship that doesn't have the related gameplay associated with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's happened. We have the Herald. I mean, hell, even the Carrack is missing its drone bay and cartography room. And then don't even get me started on Reclaimer and Starfarer.
Yeah, Starfarer.
So I mean, I'd rather them at least get these ships in the game so people can start testing things of what works, what doesn't work, where there's shield holes, blah blah blah, and then work on functionality later. Like from their last video I saw, well, not today, like a couple days ago. Even the graphics team, it's performance before functionality, right? They're worried about making the game run as best as it can before they start fluffing up all these little things you can do. Like who cares if you can go mining and eat and salvage when you're crashing every 5 minutes, I'd rather have a constant playable game with some stuff to do than a game with everything that you can't maintain a session on.
What is your opinion about the Vulcan announcement they had last week? Did you catch that one?
You're talking about the new, that's the one I'm talking about, the graphics changes they're doing. Performance increases. I'm excited. I know a lot of people are probably going to complain about the things he said, but he's completely right. We're going to have a revamp, and rather than focus on revamping and getting things working properly, then starting to fluff the game up with all these little things, make the game run on other computers and run efficiently before making it enjoyable for the select few people who have a computer good enough to run the game on its current state. So
I ask you that because you said you did have a coder's background, so maybe you have some appreciation for the amount of work that's required.
He's 100% right. And that's again, like, it's one of my favorite things about Star Citizen is all these people who are backers who suddenly become professional coders and software developers. It's like, you guys have never been in this world and seen what it's like. They're like, why is this done, this not done? Like, sometimes when you're waiting on a project to be done from a different department, there's nothing you can do further your branch workflow other than work on something else. Like, this cannot be completed until you have A, B, and C done. You cannot move on to D. So go start Project H. Like, it's a different world there.
Yeah, totally.
And
agree.
code changes too. Like, that's another thing. You can have something done and be ready, but by the time they finish the thing, there's a new library out or a new API out. Like, things are constantly dynamic in the software world, and I think that's another thing people don't realize with this game. They make a tool, it starts working, they finally finish another thing for the game, and they start implementing that in, but bam, suddenly the new library doesn't support these old things we had working, so they have to go back. It's like this, take 2 steps back, 1 step forward, just to get things working right.
Have you ever had the occurrence where you would write something and then you'd come back to it maybe a year later and you're like, what the F?
What did I do? Thinking? Oh my goodness. That happens almost daily. Like, especially, I started my software job in 2013, and I think I left it at the end of 2019, right? About 6 years. And when I was starting to go through some of my old code, I was like, what was I doing? Like,
right.
I cannot believe this is how I wrote it. But, that's the beauty of software. You get better each day. You start learning new routes. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, especially with code. You could have 10 people who write software do 10 different things for the same exact job. Everyone has a different process of how they step through things.
And I think about like that effect. I don't know if you could consider it the programmer's dilemma. I hear the phrase programmer's dilemma all the time, but it refers to so many different things. And I just imagine, having that effect, like you're working on cry code or something, and then you're like looking at code you did a year ago. And I'm like, man, the amount of technical debt that must like incur to just, learning basically.
Yeah.
Everything's outdated within a year. Ooh. It's expensive. So
you never stop learning. That's one thing I will say about software is it's the ever going. You're just in college the entire time. Like you never stop going to class every single day. You write something and there's always something new code. You know, like when I started, all I knew was SQL. Basically, and then they started getting
SQL?
me. Yeah,
that's
SQL
wild.
is. I know. I mean, I knew like a little bit of these other things, but then they got me under Ruby and Bash scripting and Angular and all these things that I had to learn on the go. There's some projects where I've only needed it for one thing, and then I never touched it again. But I had to learn all of it to get this to work right, which it was crazy. And like that's one of the things I hated too. You know, I'd spend 2 months learning something, get a project done, and then I didn't need to touch it for a year and a half. And then suddenly a year and a half later, it's like, hey, this one other thing broke. You know, I hope you remember everything you learned from 2 years ago. It's like, oh my god, it was tough.
They want to get Vulkan in by the end of the year. That's their goal.
I think that's possible.
You think that's possible?
We're in like the first quarter of the year, right? Like we've got plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
I think right now the biggest thing, like he says, we're waiting on Squadron, and I think a lot of their assets are pushed onto Squadron to make sure that's out, that's whatever, and then once that is good and rolling, I think we're gonna start getting a lot more dev resources pushed towards working on the live servers, right? There's a lot of assets from Squadron 42 are locked up and kept from PU.
Yeah, that's true. Secret projects.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, people were able to pull out the Idris, months ago. A couple other ships, I think, like Vultures and F8 Lightnings in. Like all these ships were there with interiors even, but they don't want them pushed out until everything else is finished off with their single player.
And they need server meshing for some reason for Squadron. I can't figure that out.
Yeah. Who knows? Again, we don't work there, so we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We can just make our best guess.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like of the developers I spoke to, it sounded like they didn't really know what was going on either. There's like numerous levels of secrecy within CIG. Man, that's so fascinating. It's got to be so hard to manage as well. It's kind of like an art in itself.
Yeah. And then creating a game like this, revolutionary.
Yep, that's why we're here, right? So, what's your future look like? What have you done in the past 12? Like, what have you been up to in the past 12 months?
Well, honestly, working on my stream. Finally starting to get different scenes and all these effects going. From when I started, like honestly, I started streaming around August. I did a little bit before that, but August was my date where I just went full ham onto it, full paint. And then I noticed, how different people do theirs and what I was missing on mine, and people started making things for my stream. So it's just, a work in progress, everlasting work in progress. Keeping my fleet up to date, so I have ships for everything. When people log in, I want to make sure they can experience the ships they want to fly. I kept my fleet mostly to some of the intro ships, like the Gladius and Arrow. So when people get on, they're like, "What is this ship like?" I'm like, "Here, test drive it." Instead of filling my fleet up with, the Kraken or Star Runner or Idris, ships that I'm not going to see for a while. Started focusing more towards my community, making sure they're involved and having a fun time watching me versus just them watching me do my own thing in a single seater. But that's just me. That's what I wanted to do. But again, I started getting transitions scenes in, which I kind of like, especially when I start playing other games. I got a little splash screen with stuff in the background that all my viewers made for me, different emotes, stuff like that. But in the next 12 months, I'd probably say I'm looking at getting a house or a definite place. Because like right now, I'm in my best friend's guest room and I don't mind it. But I also feel bad because it's like not my space, so I want to get into a place that has some good internet, my good internet.
So you're going to get a house and this is just going to be your streaming hut, basically?
Yep. Yeah. Well, my eventual goal, funny enough, is I've been really into the tiny homes and I kind of want one.
That's cool.
Yeah. I've been watching them on YouTube and I saw one girl who's a streamer. She's like, "Oh, this is my stream tiny home." And I was like, "This is pathetic." Like, no offense to her, but it's like she had like one tapered off green screen and like a little tiny computer. Like, I already have.
I think I saw that one. She was like German or something, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was good.
I just, I want to build around this. I have a standing desk, so I'm not have to worry about a chair or anything. I can put this onto a corner and, But that's beyond 12-month plan. Right now it's just getting into my own zone.
Well, I think it's cool if you're motivated to like buy a house with your streaming as your full-time job. Man, I hope that's a future we're entering, because that would be an exciting future. And I think that you're capable of doing it if you're targeting, like if you're saying 300 subs a month, it's pretty good. Do it good. Do it good.
That's what I'm saying.
Do it good.
Especially when you do a tiny home. You got solar panels, like
Totally.
You're not paying for a lot of power. Like I'll have an internet bill and food bill, and maybe property tax, but I don't need a 4-bedroom house. I don't need it. Everything I need is on my my beautiful standing desk.
I thought it was so amazing that woman could get by on her streaming stuff that she had. It really wasn't like, and she was doing like console gaming. I don't know what game it looked like she was playing. I don't know if you remember what that was.
I do not. They never showed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they did. And she also had like an upstairs too. She was doing like video sessions or video interviews or something like that. So,
that Patreon account, huh?
Yeah. You know what though? Man, it'd be just so cool to have just like a house of streamers. I had some friends that did that actually. They went to
that would be cool.
Amsterdam. They're all a bunch of game developers. They all went on like this game retreat or game camp. It just, there was a house that was owned and it was just all rented out by a group of game developers, and they would just go there and they would contribute to the game, and then they'd move along. They'd stay for a month or something and then go off and somebody else would take their spot. That'd be really cool though. Like if there was a dedicated, what do we call, like studio or something like that.
The stream house wouldn't be a bad idea. Everyone splits everything, and then it'd be cool to have a fourth account where you have like a 24-hour stream and people just go through shifts. Like, hey, wake up. This is your 6 hours. This is your 6 hours. This is your 6 hours. And then at the same time, you could do your own. Like I've seen Funhouse. It's like a group of people that play games together, but they bought an office and they go into an office or whatever. I wouldn't mind doing that either. We actually talked about doing a tiny house community, where we all split money on land and then just build all our tiny homes within like our own cul-de-sac, basically.
That's cool. Yeah, let's sign me up for that. Like, I just need an excuse to go to Florida. That's all. Don't worry about the whole virus and the customs and whatever. We don't need that. But man, I love Florida so much. Did you say where you're at in Florida, or is that?
I was in Tampa, and then I moved down to Fort Myers.
Oh, you're in Fort Myers?
Fort Myers. Yeah. This is actually where I grew up in like middle school and high school. I've always been west coast of Florida. I lived on east for a little bit. I even have a couple of friends in Daytona, but I like the Gulf of Mexico. I love Daytona and I like waves, but sometimes I just want to go in the water and not have to worry about riptide sucking you out to the ocean, and I don't know, it's nicer. It's nice and calm here.
Cool, man.
It gets a little humid in the summertime, but it's beautiful 99% of the year versus, if I want snow, I'll go snowboarding and then I'll come back and enjoy my warm weather.
Where are you going to go snowboarding? What would a person from Florida know about snowboarding?
Oh my God. I've gone to Whistler.
Oh,
in
what?
Canada.
What?
Yep. I've gone to Stowe in Vermont. I've gone to Breckenridge, A Basin, Keystone in Colorado. And then I was going to ski Tatras. I'm Slovakian, so I have family back home. And they have the High Tatra Mountains. And I was going to go boarding over there this year. But obviously, coronavirus.
Yes.
Put a big old dampener on that.
Big old dampener on that.
But yeah, just because I'm a Florida boy doesn't mean I don't know how to, shred the gnar. Don't worry.
Yeah. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds wonderful. All right.
Snowboarders use.
What? That's a snowboarder term?
Yeah. It's called shredding the gnar.
What is a gnar? Is it a person?
Fresh pow, fresh laid snow.
All right.
Because some people ski and they go on like the Groom Mountains. Like I like it when it just snows and it's like nice and cushy and you can hear that crinkle. And you shred the gnar.
So is gnar different than powder? Because I thought it was called powder.
Oh, we call it pow. There's a lot of terminology for it.
So I understand that you got to go. You're on the run. Did you have anything you wanted to say about the roadmap though? Because that was my next thing. I was going to poke at you a little bit because I had the roadmap update today.
Didn't actually see it. I spent most of my day shopping for clothes for this show because I thought we were going to do it in game and then, make some dinner.
Oh, yeah,
but I have a lot of things to catch up on with Star Citizen. Yeah,
well, Friday's the exciting day, and that's kind of why I poke at you in the first place. But honestly, I don't think you missed too much. There wasn't a lot of updates.
What did they? I saw they pushed. Did they really push out 42, or was that an April Fool's joke too?
42. What?
Squadron 42. Somebody, I saw a picture. Somebody said like beta's coming out in 2022 or something like that.
Oh yeah, there was a Reddit post for that. Yeah, because they believe the roadmap. They're like, oh yeah, it's on the roadmap. You know, sometimes
you can never 100% trust the roadmap. Like I've seen things that are like 10 out of 50 done, and then they push it out next patch. Like what? They didn't update this roadmap. You know, roadmap gives you like what they want you to see, and half the time I feel like it's kind of like a thing to create hype. Like you know, the Carrick, when they're like this is how close it is to getting done, blah blah blah. I bet you things were already beyond finished, and they were just ready to kind of you know, surprise everybody. And you do it all the time.
Yeah.
The roadmap is a rough estimate. It's like what do we want them to see?
Yeah, that's true. Well, TLDR, Asperia Prowler went to polished state. They moved the M50 out of 3.9, brought into 4.0.
Yeah, Prowler. I'll wait for the M50. I want that Prowler.
Yeah, the M50 is not a... You know what I was thinking about the other day was how this new flight simulator game, what the Red Bull Air Racing will be like if that could be an esports from Microsoft. Wouldn't that be incredible?
That would be awesome, actually. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
You could do the freaking course.
Because, like, air racing, it sucks. Like, I mean, it's great, good and all, but it's super expensive, and I feel like the sport should be a lot popular than what it is. And I don't know, maybe we could just turn it into an esports so it's a little bit more achievable.
I'd like it when we have the VR goggles and, like, a suit that you can actually feel the G-forces. Like, that's the one thing, in terms of driving and racing sims and flying sims, it's like, I miss that feeling. I like the pit, the little core in your stomach, you know what I mean? Like when you go up and down, like that to me is what makes flying and driving a fun experience. Like even drifting, like, yeah, you can drift in a video game, it's no big deal, but until you're in the car and you're sitting on the seat and you can feel the wheel in your hands, and like, it's just a completely different experience. And we're getting close to simulating it, but there's a few key aspects missing, you know, especially on a plane. Like, think about how much different people would fly in Star Citizen when they're redding out, but you're actually getting close to redding out, like with VR goggles, and you can feel it. Like, you know, people wouldn't do all these crazy things.
Totally.
Like, you know, I want to go 0 to 1374 meters a second in 2 seconds. Like, no, you freaking don't. Like, you'll get there, then you'll wake up. Like,
yeah, like you ever see the G meter when you're doing a turn in Star Citizen? You hit 5 Gs and you're like, oh, that would be painful.
No big deal.
And then it goes up to 13 and you're like, I think I'm dead.
It's like, what? It's 9? It's like a high 9 is like what trained pilots can handle or something like that?
Something around there.
13, like you hit that turn and you're going to bed.
Well, I think it was 16, that guy who strapped himself to a rocket car in like the 50s or whatever and launched himself down a track. And I think he hit 16 Gs. And he almost died from that.
I could imagine.
Yeah, that's obscene. Dang. So just the last thing on the roadmap was the refinery got added to the space station for 4.1. So now they have the cargo decks in the refinery. And that's about it.
I would say that mixed with the... what are we doing? Like the mining buffs. I think that is kind of cool. Like I get people getting kind of upset about them focusing so much on mining, but at least we're getting a refined and polished, you know, state of that to allow them to push that off and be like, all right, we're done. Here's the next step. And refinery, that's been a big thing. You know, the whole point of the prospector and the mole was to have all this SCU of cargo, but you know, until you're a master miner and you know to only pull 100% rocks, you're filling a lot of inert material out. Like, it's going to be sweet to go in there and, you know, basically get more money for your minimalistic load, mining load.
Of course, your mining load. What other kind of load would you be talking about?
That's the only one.
Of course. And we don't want to cause any explosions for your load either. We wouldn't want that to happen.
No,
insurance
that's
companies.
Bad news.
Insurance companies would be pretty upset over something like that. Yeah. Well, I mean, we can wrap that up here if you want to call it. Did you have, I don't know, is there anything that we might have missed, you think?
No, I mean, other than let's get ready for 3.9 and, you know, new Babbage. I'm excited for that zone. I'm excited for the new mission. Like, yeah, I get everyone's hyped about the Idris mission, but I'm hyped for the one where you get to go in, take the lap code, and, you know, the one they showed off in CitizenCon. So excited for a new spawn point.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully we get some new trade outposts too. Because sorry, all I do is trade. That's all I seem to really care about. But it keeps me busy anyways.
Good.
Yeah. All right.
UEC coming.
That's right. Yep. So, when do you usually stream? Do you have like a schedule?
So before it was around 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then Thursdays I usually did the Night Crew show. Sundays I did a Scorecast, which is a podcast we do with my organization. But with the times now, I've been trying to do daytime streaming, but I end up starting at 9 p.m. I'll stream till 4 or 5 in the morning, and then I'll go to bed at 6 a.m. And then I wake up at like 3, 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So there goes my daytime stream. So mostly nighttime. I would say I'm probably going to move my start time to 9 p.m. because I like hanging out with some people from the European side and Australian side, not just the EU side. I mean, NA side. So I like the nighttime. I like being a night owl.
I think night's better. And I mean, I say that because I've always streamed in the daytime and I see a lot of things. I talked to WTFosaurus about this as well because I met him in Vancouver. And he was saying that 6 a.m. is prime time for like the morning. And I missed that by an hour. It's like, man, if I was just to wake up an hour earlier.
Yeah, and that's 9 a.m. Eastern, which makes sense.
Yeah. It's like all I have to do is wake up an hour earlier and I'd probably do a lot better on my stream. But it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
My weakness.
Yeah, but you are in a tough bracket, man. That morning hours, where 90% of the people are doing it,
You think so?
You're going up against like you, Vert, Nerd Show and Tell, Uber Nerd, What the Fuckosaurus. A lot of people do. But I consider that time a prime time hour. The people are at work watching. Versus I like my nighttime one. Like, I talked to Jude about this because he streams out of Hawaii, which is 6 hours back. But he hits this late night bracket where you're pulling people from different time zones and there's not as much traffic, but we're pulling in what is there. None of the big guys like, the ones I mentioned are doing the nighttime ones, which I like. Well, Uber Nerd does go late into the night, but good for him.
Yeah,
he does the morning and the night. But I like the nighttime hours, and people are a little more chill. You don't get as many of the trolls in there, and as bad as it's to say, you don't get a lot of the kids going in there and trying to queue up racist YouTube music or mess with you. It's like a lot of the people there just kind of hanging out or playing the game with you and just being chill. So I like it. Late night with Henken,
There you go. Yeah. All right, Henken. Well, thanks so much for doing the show for me this week.
You're very welcome, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to have Dad Lando on the show next week, so be sure to check in then.
Of course, man.
Have a good week, everybody.
Yeah, bye, everyone.